Have you had to clean door skins yet?
Oh yeah,
Have
dude.
you cleaned the very top though? Like the very
Yeah.
top? Yeah, that's terrible.
It's nasty. Dude, the vacuums are the worst. Vacuum.
You guys are
I never did that.
Because I had to pick up cigarette butts.
Bro, I've had to clean. They used to always have, they give me a raise for cleaning behind the grills at work. And it's the most awful thing. It'd be like a mountain of grease.
Yeah, it's nasty.
And most people won't do it with cigarettes and that.
It's disgusting.
I don't do it no more than a lot, but yeah, I'm done.
What are you guys gonna do when you have to do a really gross job when you get older?
I wasn't saying
I
it
ain't
was
trying to
gross.
put
It was
myself in
beacon. It's just
Yeah, I'm not gonna put myself in the position to have to
My
work.
septic system's bad right now, and so what am I doing last night? I'm out there digging in it, trying to fix it.
That's disgusting. I'll just pay someone to do it.
Yeah, I bet you would. You ain't got.
That's expensive.
Well,
Yeah,
you're
but
running an
money,
excavator,
you
you're
ain't got
gonna
the money
hold
to pay
up,
someone
just
to
pipe
do
it
it.
down.
Yeah, it's $500 to suck it out, and we've already paid that, and now we
What's
gotta
wrong
dig it all
with
up.
it?
You should have just got some pipe and dug a big hole, like with an excavator or something.
You got the money to pay for a bill what?
You don't have to buy them, you can rent them. They have them in Richmond, right on the road. Let's go rent an
You don't
excavator.
know
You got the money to rent one of them? 'Cause it ain't
Nah,
cheap.
it ain't my septic system.
Oh, Michael, you're in for a big surprise.
So how late did you do that for?
Till I was out there in the rain for a little while.
That's
It
a-
rained?
Yes, that smells wrong.
Yeah, it rained last night.
Just sort of quit after a while.
Septic
So
pipe.
it's like, okay, if you guys want to use the restroom, go outside.
On page 150, right?
Wow, it's only 3:11. I didn't expect it to.
115, questions, problems you want to see worked. That'd be the time for Dalton to ask. Then he wouldn't have to come see me during intervention. 6, also, next class there will be a test over this chapter, so if you didn't understand any of these, you might want to make sure that you understand them before you leave today. Problem number 6. Use the following commission schedule to find the total graduated commissions in problems 5 through 8. And for problem 6, they give us that this person sold $8,000 or had $8,000 worth of sales. Now I'll write it down up here. First $5,000 of sales, they get 5%. Next 10,000, ain't going in. Next 10,000, they get
8%.
8%. Thank you. Help me read these because this print's awful small for my eyes.
15,000.
Anything over 15,000,
10%.
they get 10% of the sale, or they get a 10% commission. So what you got to do, you got to figure out each one of these separately, then add them all together to find out the total commission. The first one, as long as you sold over $5,000, everybody's going to make this first part, right? As long as you sell, well, actually, does it say up to on the first 5,000? So if you sell over 5,000, you're going to make a certain amount. So all we do is take 5,000, have your calculators out so you can help me, so I don't have to try to do this in my head. 5,000 times we ought to make Dalton do this since he was laughing about how to change a percent to a decimal and stuff a little while ago. What's 5% as a decimal?
0.05.
0.05. Bump it 2 places every single time. 250. So this person sold $8,000. So the first part of the commission, $250. Now for the next 10,000, so up to 15,000, you get 8%. Well, we already did 5,000. That company's not going to pay you another commission on that 5,000, right? So it's gone. So how much money do we have left for the company to pay commission on? $3,000. So they actually only sold,
Wait.
so we put the 5,000 here, that goes in this first block, then there's only 3,000 left for the second block. That's all that, they make 8% of anything over that 5,000. Does that make sense? So I got 3,000 times, what's 8% as a decimal?
0.08.
Multiply that, what do you get?
240.
So you see why companies do this? This person almost made as much commission on that $3,000 as they did that $5,000. So it gives you more incentive to sell more. Now for this one, how much did they sell over 15,000? None. So what's 10% of nothing? 0. So they didn't make any commission in that part. How do we find their total commission? Add them up. What do you get? 490.
Okay, that was easier than I thought it was.
So $490. The hard thing with this, and the hard thing for me to explain is, you got to remember. Okay, I get rid of this 5. You know, if it's going up to 5,000,
So you just minus it from the 10,000 always?
you minus it from.
The second column.
Right, you minus it from whatever it was here. So they paid you for 5,000 of this.
Mhm.
Well, then they got 3,000 left to pay you for. If, let's say you had done, let's say you sold 22,000. They pay you for the 5,000, that would go here. The next 10,000, so up to 15,000, that means you would have another 10,000 here. Well, now you've done a total of 15,000. Well, we still got 7,000 left. That would go here.
That makes sense.
So this, it sort of helps you to do this, you know, split it off this way. That's going to total up to be your total sales down there, if that helps you to.
How many questions like this are going to be on the test?
I'm not sure yet. Matter of fact, I haven't even made up the test yet. Other questions?
This was actually kind of really easy after those problems. Can you do number 18?
18. Write each decimal write each as a decimal. Write each as a decimal. 5.5%, right? Remember me talking about stores all the time? They'll do crap like this to you. Write it as 5.5% because they know that somebody might know how to deal with the percent, but you throw that fraction in there with that percent, and that confuses everybody and they don't have a clue. All right, what would we change that to? 5.5%. Now to change that percent into a decimal, what do we do with the decimal?
Maybe two places.
What goes here?
0.
So what's our answer?
0.5. Or you could round, I guess.
And you said it wrong. Say it again.
0.055. What did I say? You.
0.
Oh. You know what I meant.
I know what I do on the test on Monday when you write down what you meant. 15.5% of 3,500. 15.5% of 3,500. What's of mean in math?
Okay, I have a question.
Yep.
If I put 15.5%, and my calculator's at the same thing, or
You got to be careful, and I don't even like to tell people how to do the percents on calculators, because every calculator does a percent different. So if I grab a calculator and I put in 15.5 and hit the percent button, one calculator will change it to a decimal, another one will change it into a percent, and so I don't even like to mess with that. I would rather just, that before you grab your calculator, change this to a decimal. So how do I change that to a decimal?
In the 2 places.
So what is it as a decimal?
0.155.
Now we can grab the calculator, and what are we gonna punch in?
0.155
Times 3,500, so do that. 542.5? Was this money?
Yeah.
See, I wrote the same thing, but
No.
I like.
So if you can figure it out, on your calculator and it works out, just make sure that it's not doing something crazy.
Okay.
Alright? Now, what's wrong with that?
0.
Put a 0 at the end because it's money and we always go out 2 places as money.
If we forget to put like the money sign, are you taking points off?
I probably wouldn't take off points for the money sign. If it is money though, I want you to know that you should always go out 2 places behind the decimal. So that one I might. Other questions?
Do one of the places any of them, 27 to 30.
Pick one.
30.
30. They got that underlined, right?
Yeah.
What place is this? Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000. 10,000's place.
We do one of these.
Sure.
Do 13.
Tanisha.
No, it's 12.
Oh, sorry. Blake demonstrates cookware at the National Food Fair. He is paid $7 for the first 10 demonstrations in one day, and $8.50 for each demonstration over 10. What is his commission if Blake makes 12 demonstrations in one day? So they're saying he does 12 demos. For the first 10, he makes $7, right? So that's going to be 7 times 10. That's 70. So he's made $70 so far. Well, they paid him for 10 demonstrations. How many demonstrations haven't they paid him for yet?
10.
2 for.
No, wait. They haven't paid him for 2.
They haven't paid him for 2, right? And how much does he make for each one of those?
850.
$8.50.
So that's 17.
So that's $17. What do we do with those 2 to get his overall? Add them together, what do you get?
87.
$87 is what he made for that day. $87. So, again, same idea. Yeah, you pay for the first 10, then there's only 2 left. Don't come down here and say 12 times $8.50, because he's not making $8.50 for all 12. They're trying to, what are they trying to do here when they say, okay, hey, we're gonna pay you $8.50?
They're trying to think.
They're trying to get you to do what?
Add the extra 12.
Do more, right?
Because it is saying.
So you're standing there doing this, instead of you walking outside and smoking a cigarette and taking a break for an hour, they want you in there doing what? Doing another demonstration. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Every time somebody walks by, you see these people in there.
So.
Hey, let me show you this knife. Look, it cuts 10 cans and everything. Every time you're walking at some fair or whatever.
So it's saying until, like after he does 10 demonstrations after that, he makes 8.
Right.
That's saying.
For the first 10, he makes $7.
After that, he makes, okay.
Anything after that, he makes $8.50 per demonstration. And that's the way graduated commission works. You for the first whatever, you're selling widgets. All right. The first 100 widgets you sell, you get $2 each. Anything from 100 to 200, you get $3 each. Anything from 200,
Sell more, make more.
right. That's what a graduated commission is. Other questions?
3 or 4.
Which one?
3 or 4.
Which one?
3.
Wait. Dabney, Washington is paid a weekly commission of 3.5% on sales of $7,500 or less, and 5.5% on sales in excess of $7,500. Last week, Dabney's commission was $822. What was her total of her sales for the week? So on this one, you're sort of doing the stuff backwards. So let's write some of this down so that we have it here. This is what you need to make sure you do. So on the test next week, if I don't give you enough space on the test, grab a piece of scrap paper and write stuff down on it if nothing else. She is paid 3.5% on, losing my spot, on the first $7,500, right? On the first $7,500 worth of sales. Then anything over $7,500, she's paid 5.5%. This time, instead of us knowing how much she sold, like knowing, hey, she sold $17,000 this week. Instead of us knowing that and saying, okay, she made 3.75 times 7,500, then 5.5 times whatever that is over 7,500. Instead of knowing that, this time they told us not how much she sold, that's what we don't know. And they told us that her pay or her commission for the week was $822.40. Ignore that stray mark there. So what we're going to have to do is somehow figure out how does that work out. And probably the easiest way, if she made $822, can we figure out if she sold over $7,500? Yeah, so how would we figure out if she sold $7,500 exactly, how could we figure out how much money she made? What'd you have to do if she sold $7,500 exactly? What did we do on the other problems that we were doing? Times them together, right? What do we got to do this 3.5? So what's it become? So somebody help me out with your calculator. What's 0.035 times 7,500? If she sold exactly $7,500, 262.5. So if she sold exactly $7,500, she would have made a commission of $262.50. She made a lot more than that, didn't she? So did she sell more than $7,500? Yeah, so we know that she's higher than $7,500, but we don't know how much. So this is the commission that she makes on that first $7,500. All right? She makes this amount on that first $7,500, but she made more than that. So what are we going to do with this commission to see how much commission she made past that $7,500? Subtract it. So grab your calculator. 822.40 minus that 260.50. 262.50. Sorry. 559.9. When I add a zero to that, right? So $559.90. That's how much commission she made after she sold that first $7,500. Well, what we want to find out is how much sales she went above $7,500. All right? Well, we know it's gonna be 5.5%, so you see how we did this? Percent times 7,500 times sales equals the commission. We know the percent. What's the percent this time? Times, ignore that stray mark. Now, is it gonna be times 7,500? We don't know the sales this time, right? So this is gonna be our, we'll call it S, because we don't know what it is. We don't know how much she sold. But we do know that 0.055 times whatever the sales was had to equal that $559.90. What do you do to solve for S there? Divide both sides by that, so we divide this by, so grab your calculator, what's 599.90 divided by 0.055? Say it again.
10,180.
Now here's where you really gotta be careful. So she sold $10,180. Is that her total sales for the week? No, we gotta go back and take that and add what to it?
822.
How much sales did she have?
Or the 559.
Remember, these are sales, not her commission.
Oh.
These are sales. So she sold $10,180 to make that extra $559. But we want to know her total sales for the week.
So you add 10,075.
Add that and
Divide out by
that, and add those two. What's that give you? 10,180 plus the 7,500.
17,600.
What is it?
17,680.
So how much sales did she have for the week? 17,680. Is that what her check's gonna say? No, that's not what she's bringing home. That's their amount of sales, all right? We know their check. What's her check gonna say? It's up here already.
The 10,180.
Save 100? What about 800?
Her check's gonna say that. That's the amount of commission she got. The other is how much she sold for the company.
So she sold 17,000 and she only got 800.
Right. And that's probably, if you were working on commission, that's probably pretty good. You're not gonna, the company's not gonna pay you like 30% when they have all the overhead and, you know, they gotta pay rent for whatever building you're working at. And you're gonna make about, if you make in between 3 and 6%, that's probably pretty good. It's just like with a bank, if you're putting your money in there in a savings account and they're using your money, what percentage do they pay you to use your money?
Small.
It's very small. Right now it's like 0.5% or something.
Yeah.
It's not very much. Used to be when I was growing up, if you put money in a savings account, you could get 2 or 3% on your money. So if you put $500 in there, at the end of the year, you might actually have, you know, a few extra dollars. Now you put $500 in there, and
You get like 550.
yeah, you don't get a whole lot. I think one of the accounts that I had taken care of for here at school has, it's got like $8,000 in it, $8,000 or $10,000 in it, and each month we make about 49 cents. So over a year, let's say it's 50 cents. Over a year, we'll make about $6. And for them using our $10,000, whatever it is.
That's stupid.
All right. Chapter 1 review, you might want to write this down. Maybe. If I'm a nice guy come Monday, probably won't happen, but you never
It
know.
should be, it's on Monday.
Maybe something nice will happen to me over the weekend. For some reason, my family will be nice to me. Probably not, so you guys
Are
probably.
they mean to you?
Yes, they're mean to me all the time.
Your kids?
I couldn't see
Everybody.
why.
I'm a horrible person, don't forget it.
I didn't
It's
say
about how you treat us, so they're like,
Mr. Ebersol's nice.
Write this down, what I started to say. We'll jot some things down on this, and maybe come Monday when it comes test time, maybe I'll let you use your binder. Then again, maybe not.
Oh yeah. That's
So,
why I
like,
usually-
when we're writing this, should we leave
I got my
blanks?
stuff in my binder.
Yeah, maybe I'll just one line or something. I'm not gonna write a whole lot with it. These are things that are gonna be on this test. If there's a number 1 on this slide, guess what's on the next slide? Number 2. Boy, that's pretty common sense, isn't it? Unless your name's no.
I'm sure it's all you know, just to, or you want to have class help with you there, say about your writing stuff on the board, about like your how you spell stuff.
No.
Yeah, it gives them something to, so at least maybe they're thinking.
I just gotta sit back and you guys don't even know.
I think it's funny how you can just tell when it's like cursing off the slaves. Like I was just sitting here. I did it a minute ago when you were like doing one of them. I was just sitting here and I like looked back at it and you were already like done. And I was just like, what? What is this?
You just hope that doesn't happen on Monday when you're doing the test, you don't drift off, because then I won't notice and all of a sudden the bell will ring and you go. And we already talked about what grade you want to have, 2 zeros, what grade you want to have for this 9 weeks, 2 zeros. Right? You want to have like an 80 something for this 9 weeks, because when that senior crap starts happening at the
It's
end of the
already happened.
year,
That's what I'm talking about.
no, I'm not talking about senioritis.
Oh.
I'm talking about when you actually have to start doing a bunch of work.
It's when you get lazy.
It's when you get lazy and don't want to do anything.
I had
Oh my
that
gosh, I
junior
had
year.
that over
I've had that all my life.
Understand all of these things. Hourly rate. Remember your hourly rate? It's just how much you make per hour. So maybe you make $8.40 per hour. Nothing really to explain there. Hourly rate. Hopefully you know what that means. Gross pay. What's another name for gross pay? Total pay. Either one of those means the same thing. Now, next chapter, we're actually going to learn that gross pay really doesn't mean a whole lot, because taxes and all that stuff. And we'll start talking about it next chapter. Time and a half. What could we write down for time and a half?
Yeah.
1 point, that's overtime, right? So this is overtime. It's for overtime hours, and it's 1.5 times your regular pay. 1.5 times your regular pay, or 1.5 times your hourly rate, whatever it is. So if you make $8 an hour, then for overtime, if you grab your calculator, what's 1.5 times 8?
Like 4. Or no, that's not right.
12. All right, now Michael's got to be careful, because
Wait, you said 0.5.
that's 1.5, right? Because what he's doing is taking half of 8, and that's right, but what do you do with that half of the
Add
8?
it to the 8.
You add it back to the 8. You don't want them paying you if you make $8 an hour, you don't want them paying you $4 an hour when you're working extra time. What's double time mean?
It's
2.
2 times your regular.
2 times your regular pay. Usually double time comes on what kind of days? Holidays and stuff. All right, some companies pay double time on Sundays, and maybe even triple time on
Yeah, I know.
special
My
holidays.
girlfriend, her mom, she makes like triple what she makes. She makes like $40 an hour on holidays. Like, is it really
Does she
worth
still
it
work at
though?
Wheaton?
Huh?
Does she still work at Wheaton?
Yeah.
My
She's about
dad's a
to-
manager there.
Huh?
My dad's a manager there.
She's about to get fired though.
Piecework. Remember piecework? What's piecework?
At least I think that.
Fixed
You make what?
Make money by per piece.
Per piece. You make money per piece. So, if, let's say you're a post hole digger, you're gonna make money for each post hole you dig. So if you stand there and it takes you 6 hours to dig the first post hole, you still make just that one set amount. But if, in that 6 hours, if you dig 50 post holes, you make so much per post hole for whatever it is. Salary, whole bunch of different types of salary. I'm gonna write them over here. What are the different kinds of salaries that we talked about?
annual.
Annual. Annual means what? Yearly. So you get one pay per year. Weekly? What's that?
Every week.
It's 54. Is it?
52.
52 pays per year, right?
Bi-weekly?
Bi-weekly,
26.
that's 26 pays per year.
Or semi-monthly.
Semi-monthly, semi-monthly.
6.
How many pays is that?
6.
It's only a couple less than this one.
It's 24.
24 pays per year.
And then monthly, which is 12.
Monthly, 12 pays per year. Is that all of them? Is that it? Alright, so be able to figure out if I tell you that John earns $72,000 in a year and he gets paid semi-monthly, what would you do to figure out each of his checks?
You would take his total pay and you would divide it by, wait, what do you divide that?
Semi-monthly.
Oh, you would take it, divide it by 24. Why
Alright.
does your board do that?
Huh?
Why does your board do that?
I don't know, because I don't hold a pen. So, as I'm writing, sometimes my thing turns like this, and it thinks it's going up or something. So instead of holding it perpendicular like I should, every now and then, as I'm writing, it'll go sideways. What if I told you John's check is $2,000, and I ask you to find his annual salary if he is on monthly payments?
Divided by 12.
Instead of dividing this time, what are we gonna do?
Divide it by 12.
We times it by 12. So make sure you know both ways. Sometimes they'll tell you what the check is, and you gotta figure out what his overall salary is. Sometimes they'll tell you the overall salary, and you gotta figure out how much each check's gonna be. I don't want to get commissions. Remember we talked about straight commissions? Straight commission is you get 10% of everything you sell, and that's all the money you're gonna make. So if you sell 0, what's your check gonna be? 0. All right, that's a straight commission. Then we have a minimum salary commission. That's where they say, okay, you came to work every day, so we're gonna pay you $200 for coming to work every day this week. But on top of that, you're also going to make 10% of whatever you sell. And then the one that we just talked about today, graduated commission. It's where you make 2% for the first 5,000, 5% for the next 10,000, 7% for the next 2,000 after that, so on, so on, so on. Things you're going to have to be able to calculate: straight time pay. And I'll hopefully on some of these we'll have just our little equations here. How do you find straight time pay?
Multiply your pay by hours.
Hourly rate times hours. Straight time pay is hourly rate times hours. How do you find overtime pay?
You take the amount of hours you worked overtime and times it by
OT hours times
the pay.
OT rate.
OT rate or OT pay. OT, let's say rate. OT rate. And that's going to give you your overtime pay. Then what do you got to do with that?
Add it to regular pay.
Add it to your straight time pay there. So you got to remember to go back and add it to your straight time pay. Total hours, be able to total up hours on a time card. I'm not going to put any kind of formula here for this. You just got to remember, if you work from 8 till 4:15, you got to be able to figure that out. Sometimes, if you work 8 to 4:15, what might you have to remember to get rid of on that?
Your lunch.
Your lunch. Piecework pay, we talked about that on the other slide, right? You make so much per piece. The different salaries, we just talked about those. Straight commission pay. Remember your straight commission pay. How do you find straight commission pay?
Your commission plus what you made.
Rate times your sales, right? Remember your rate is always going to be some kind of percent. So if you make 8%, that's 8% times whatever you sell. That's straight commission. If that's all you make, again, most jobs now, most jobs aren't straight commission anymore. I think even a lot of real estate agencies and stuff, they pay their people something so that you have something to take home each week. A lot of car dealerships and real estate agents and that stuff used to be just straight percentage. So if you were a real estate agent and you only sold one house last year, you better make that commission last you the entire year, because that's the only check you got. Yeah.
I could deal with that.
Bad thing is, I don't see Peyton Manning coming here to get Michael Seymour to sell his house for him.
Anything's possible. Just gotta keep reminding you.
No, that's not possible. I'm not even gonna say anything.
Hey, some people want to come to the
Minimum salary. Minimum salary pay. Remember, with minimum salary pay, you have a minimum amount that you make plus your commission. So they're telling you, we're going to pay you $300 every week for showing up. Alright? So you show up, you go in the office, you shut the door, you sit there, and nobody ever sees you the whole week. Come Friday at 4 o'clock, they finally see you walk out the door, you're done for the week. You didn't make any sales, you make $300. Now, if you do that, and you're working on a commission job, you probably won't have the job very long. Probably that 1 week, probably not even a week, it probably only last a couple days, and they'll say goodbye. But you make that minimum amount, so there's some set thing, you make $500 plus some commission rate, 3% of all your sales. Or it could be that you make a minimum amount or percent of your sales. And the company will say, whichever one's higher. We're going to pay you $500 per week or 7% of all your sales. And whichever one's higher, that's the one that they give you. Graduated commission, we just did that. Gross pay again. Gross pay is the same as what?
Total.
Total pay.
So, and
Yeah. You're annoying, that's what she's trying to tell you.
do we need our books anymore?
Yeah, probably not. What we'll do with this? Times this class over 44 or something like that?
44.
What we'll do, I'm gonna take a break for about all right, give me a problem.
Hold on.
27.
Yeah, this does not make sense. Nothing comes out to
27. 27 first. Might want to follow along on 27. Make sure you understand it. Cody Summers sells tires for tractor trailers. He earns 4.5% commission. 4.5% commission on the first $6,000 in sales. So 4.5% on first $6,000. So this is, right now it sounds like this is going to be a graduated commission problem, right? 8% commission on the next 6,000, 8% on second 6,000. If I write something wrong, please tell me. And 12% anything else. Anything more than that 12,000, he earns 12% commission. Last month he sold $18,000. So this was his sales for last month. $18,000. So if we look at each one of these, if I split it up like I did on the first one we did, we got 4.5%, we got 8%, we got 12%. He makes 4.5% on how much money? 6,000, right? So all we gotta do there, did he sell more than 6,000?
Yes.
So all we gotta do is take the 4.5% times the 6,000. But what you gotta change the 4.5% to? So what is it? 0.045 times 6,000. What's that give us? 270. That was on $6,000 worth of tires that he sold.
Now we have 12,000 left.
There's still 12,000 left, right?
Yes.
So did he sell enough to get into this next higher commission rate?
Yes.
Yeah. So on that next 6,000, again, 6,000 of it, he's gonna earn 8%. What is that as a decimal? 0.08. Somebody multiply that for me. 0.08. What is it? 480. So that was another 6,000. Well, that's a total of 12,000 so far. Is he done? Did he sell more than that, or is that the end?
Well, he sold more than 12,000.
So he still got another, how much down here?
6.
Another 6,000 that he earned what percentage on? 12%. So 6,000 times what percent?
0.12.
0.12, 720. We're at how much total now? 18,000, right? Does he still have more? That's all his sales for the month, right? 18,000. So we've got it all. How can we figure out his total commission? Add them all up, back to this world, Dalton. What is it?
1,270. So it'd be 8.
So how much commission did he make for that month?
We did 14.
Yep.
Which one was that? It was 27. Figured they'd put some other numbers on there. Cause on the test, I'd probably put like 270 on there as one of the answers. Why would I put 270 on this? Cause that's the first, just for the first 6,000 he earned, right? 14. Odette Alvarez works at a Digitech warehouse, 8 hours a day, earning $9.48 per hour. I'm gonna write that down so I don't forget it. $9.48 per hour. She is asked to work 2 additional hours at time and a half, so she earns time and a half, to help prepare for incoming shipment of merchandise. How much will she earn for these 2 hours of overtime? So this time, they're not asking for her overall pay. They're just asking you for those 2 hours,
14.
how much is she gonna make?
That's your hourly pay.
So what do we have to do with this?
Multiply it by
Mul-
time and a half.
Multiply it by time and a half, so 9.48 times 1.5.
1422.
1.5, and you said it's 1422?
Yeah.
That's how much she earns per hour. Is that our answer? No. And again, they were nice to you because I would have put that down as one of the answers on the multiple
Oh,
choice.
okay.
What do you do with that to figure out?
Times it by 2.
Times it by 2,
28.44.
$28.44. Is that one of the answers?
Yeah.
$28.44.
I'm thinking that one.
Back in this world, Dalton?
I'm paying attention.
No, come on now.
I was.
Michael, tell him. Does Mr. Eversole know when you're spacing out?
Oh, yeah. I was listening.
What do you mean you don't know? I always tell you when you're spacing out. I'm listening. And you know you're not. 13? 13!
I did that driving too.
crap.
No, like, I'll figure out how you just like space out and I'll be like, oh crap, I need to turn. Like,
Can we do number 20?
I'll do 13, then I'll do it.
Oh, okay. I was concerned.
Sorry, I had to get rid of that. They want us to figure out these total hours here. I don't want to draw that whole box. Is that all right?
Well, 8 to 11 is 3 hours.
Yeah, that'll help you out a lot, Dalton, if I draw the whole box.
It will.
So you can space out even more.
You have it on your paper.
I need to see it on the board.
Oh my gosh.
No, he's not even looking up here. He's picking stuff off his paper and stuff
we
while
only
we
had
were,
like 15.
while we were doing stuff. Now you are.
Are you really drawing it?
I'm just drawing the end. So these are our hours.
Yeah, 423.
And you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need a total down here. This is our total, last box. So for the first day, 9:15. You went in at 8, then you left at 11. So how many hours? 3 hours so far.
And then 12 to 4 is 4.
So what?
7.
So 7, that goes there.
And then
7 in that first box.
8:30 to 12:30
3.5.
is 3.5.
3.5, 3.5,
And
You would
then,
set it at that.
yeah.
and 12:30 to 4:30,
Is 4.
another 4, so
That's 7.5.
7.5, 7.5 for that second day.
And then it's the same thing, just reversed the next day. So 3.4.
So it's 4 for
8.
8 to 12:30 is 4.5, right?
Yes.
And then
1:30 to 4:30.
that's another 3, so what's that?
7.5.
7.5, ignore that.
And then 8:30 to 12:30.
That's 3.5, right?
No, it's 4.
Did I miss one?
Well, 8:30 to 12:30.
Oh, I'm on the wrong day, that's why. 4 plus
And then 1 to 5.
another 4.
5.
Yeah.
5.
1 to 5 is how much?
2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 4 hours. So that's 8.
And then the last day,
And then 3.5.
3.5, and
5.
which one is it? 12:30 to 5.
12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30.
4.
Yeah,
4.5.
So 8.
So that's 8. Now what do we do to get total hours?
You add them all up.
Now when I total these up, what I do, so I can do it in my head, what's 0.5 and 0.5 give you? A whole, so you can sort of get rid of those and just add an extra 1 over here. And then maybe you can add up all these in your head. That's 8, 15, 15 plus 7 is 22, plus 8, 30, 38, so how many total hours?
38 hours.
38 total hours, is that what they ask us?
Yes.
Get to a problem like that, Dakota, and you need my watch, just come up and ask me. I'll hand it to you and you can spin the little hand around, say 1 hour, 2 hours, 3
Alright, can you
hours.
21?
21. Dr. McCoy earns $51,233 teaching at the university. What is his weekly salary?
Don't you just divide it by 52?
So we take that number, if that's his total pay, from 21, 51,233, and it's weekly.
So there's 20 or 52 weeks in a year, so you divide it by 52.
Divide by 52.
Okay, that was
985.25. Is that right?
yeah. Semi-monthly is,
24 pays.
yes.
Or can you do 20 because I keep
Problem 20.
Is,
Franklin Neeson earns $5,250 per month. So $5,250, and that's per month.
What about this?
What is his semi-monthly salary?
Answer's not on
yeah, the answer.
So how would we figure that? Because they're saying he earns that per month, and they want semi-monthly.
And that's 24, right? You just said that.
Now, can you divide that by 24? Is that what you're gonna do?
You times it.
You divide it by 2. All you do here for semi-monthly is divide it by 2.
You always do?
Well, if they gave you monthly. Now, the other thing that some of you were thinking, you could have changed it into his annual pay. How would you change that 5250 into his annual pay?
it.
Times it by 12, then go back and divide it by 24 for semi-monthly. And it should give you the same answer. What's this give you?
2,625.
Is that on there?
Yes.
Now, see, probably what's happening here, maybe on something like that, that'd be like when National Trail switched over from bi-weekly to semi-monthly. A lot of the teachers were trying to figure out, because when you get your check, it looks like, oh man, this isn't right, because they're ripping me off now. I should be getting paid more, because the taxes and stuff are a little different. So they were trying to figure out, hey, we were getting paid bi-weekly, now we're getting paid this way. How is that different?
Can we do
It-
by 25?
you don't make less,
I'm not gonna take less out.
Annual salary.
but it's different. 25?
Yes, sir.
Annual salary is a year, right?
Yep. 25, Colleen Truman earns 4.5% commission on all sales. In June, her sales were $40,000. How much did she earn in commission? So we got $40,000. What are we gonna do with that $40,000?
Turn it into a decimal.
Turn what into a decimal?
The
So what is it?
4.5. So 0.045.
0.045.
1,800.
Times those together, and what you get?
1,800.
So how much commission did she make? 1,800. Because she just earned straight commission. They didn't say anything else, right? If you get an answer like 18,000 on that, because that's one of the answers they put down there. Do you really think some company is going to let you sell $40,000 of their stuff, and you're going to make almost half of what your sales were? That makes no sense whatsoever. They probably didn't even make $18,000 off that $40,000 because they probably didn't make 50% because of all the overhead and everything. All right? That's when I worked at a convenience store and I'd figure this stuff out. We always jack stuff up like anywhere from 40 to 53 or 54%. So we would buy a candy bar. It would cost us, the convenience store 50 cents or something. We would charge
I got $1.07.
$1 or something for it. Right? It'd be about 50% raise. And everybody go, well, that's ridiculous that you jack it up that much. But you got to remember, in that 50 cents, 2 or 3% is going to the building for rent. Another 2 or 3% is going to electric and stuff for coolers and everything else. Then you got about 10% per month going to repairs, so on, so on, so on. So, next question. 29. Some sales positions pay a commission if sales exceed a set quota. Yolanda Gonzalez is paid $1,750 per month plus a commission of 9.5%. So she's earning $1,750 no matter what. And then she makes a commission of 9.5% on all sales more than 25,000. So 9.5, anything over $25,000.
These are the only questions that really get me.
That makes the weird problem.
What is Yolanda's pay for the month in which her sales totaled $37,500?
Okay, so it's over 25,000.
So what do you got to do with that?
So you times it. Wait.
Before that.
You make the percent into a decimal, which is.
Even before that.
Would you subtract?
She doesn't make 9.5% on all that.
So you subtract.
You subtract off the 25,000. She only makes commission on anything over 25,000. So she makes commission on $12,500 because that's what she sold past what her quota was.
And you would turn the thing into a decimal, so it'd be 0.095.
That's a 5. What's that give you?
1,000.
Yeah, I got 1,187.5.
0.5, what do we do with that?
Add a 0 on there. The answer's not on.
Yeah, the answer.
That answer's not on there? I wonder why. Read the question again.
Some sales positions pay commission which
Here's where you gotta have to be real careful on this test. Because I'm not as nice as them.
I don't know.
I would put that answer on there. And it's gonna be the wrong answer. They didn't ask us to find this person's commission, what'd they ask us to find?
Total.
Or total pay, what do you have to do?
1,000.
You gotta add that to her base pay, which is $1,750. So I hope you guys remember that, because Dakota, you know I'm a jerk. You know what number's gonna be on my question for sure? That one right there, because Michael's gonna be going, hey, that number's on there. Filling in that blank.
That's low key.
So what is that?
2,937.5.
It works sometimes.
173.
What is it?
Oh, it is 37. Yeah.
It's D.
It's D.
Yes.
Next question. 27.
We already did 27. I would know.
Cody Summer, yeah, we did, didn't we?
What about 26 then? Because,
26.
yeah.
I hate these problems.
Terrence McGraw sells lumber. He earns 4% commission on the first 5,000, 8% on the next 5,000, 12% on anything over 10,000. So just looking at this, let's just go try to do it quick. So did he sell enough to earn the 4% commission?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 0.04 times what? 5,000. Somebody figure that out and tell me here in just a minute. 200. Then it says,
8%.
then 12% for,
It's 8%.
or 8%, I'm sorry, 8% for the next 5,000.
Yes.
So did he earn enough?
Yes.
So the whole 5,000, that whole second 5,000, he got commission for that, right? And what is it? 400?
Okay, so then that means there's 8,000 left.
8,000 left.
I hope.
And what percent does he earn on that? So 0.12.
Mm,
1,200.
Then you add it.
What do we do with all those?
Yeah.
Add them, what do you come up with?
1,800.
Now be careful, because that's his commission, right? Is that the answer to this problem?
It's 960. Not 1,200.
This 12% of that's 960?
What?
That's what it says.
Try it again, everybody. Yes. Try it again real quick.
Yeah, I got 1,200.
1,200?
Yeah.
Try it again, Dakota. Yes. Sure. We add them up. Is that the answer?
I got 960.
Got 960?
I'm getting 1,200.
Look at her calculator.
Yeah.
Okay, so 0.12 times 800 or 8,000.
8,000.
10,000.
It's 960.
Is it 10,000?
Yeah, it's 10,000.
What?
Oh, that's why. So this, how much did he sell?
10,000. So, no.
How much total sales did he have?
18,000.
18,000. We took care of 5,000.
That makes 10,000.
That's 10,000. So how much sales does he still have left?
8,000.
He only has 8,000 sales left. You guys are saying he's got 10,000 because they said anything over 10,000. Well, he was $8,000 over 10,000. Is that one of the answers on there?
No.
No, that's not, because this is wrong. What is this?
960.
960. Now add them all up.
It's 1,560.
Is that on there?
Yeah.
Again, you gotta be careful. Did they ask us for the total commission this time? Yeah, this time they did. Next time, the problem might say he earns $400 per week minimum pay. Then you gotta add that on. So be careful and make sure you can do both of them. Kayla, they want you to stop down by guidance.
This is homework.
Yep. This is your homework test on Monday. They want you to stop down by guidance on your way out of here. Probably you need plenty of guidance, right?
Yeah. But you know the hurricane fundraising that we're doing? I'm the one
Yeah, dude, I couldn't work either. I can't. Dude. That's why I'm in CBI. If I wasn't CBI, I wouldn't work.
tell me that because I'll forget everything right when you hand out the test, but I'll know it.